was always tough. I was always very aggressive, all that kind of stuff. So making saves and putting my face in front of the ball, all that kind of stuff was easy for me. It came naturally. I loved it. A Brazilian, they play. And they play in these tight areas and all this kind of stuff, so they always have the best feet. You put a guy who was playing left back ready to take on any winger or any player at the time, and you put him in goal. No wonder why he's got so much effing confidence. No wonder why he doesn't get nervous on the ball.
Oh, yeah. And then he stepped up his game a lot from being at Arsenal.
The growth.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like a good,
Juve's where he got better. I'm not going to lie.
No, for me, the truth is, where did he get better?
Welcome back to the Proper Football Podcast, where we bring you news, announcements, and everything that has to do with the world of football. We're excited to see you back here. And if you haven't done so already, please give this video a like, because we know you're going to like it. And to boost the community, please press the subscribe button if you're watching this on podcast streaming platforms. Give us a 5-star rating. As you can see, we have a special guest here. One of our good friends we've known for years, and we're going to give him the opportunity to pretty much introduce himself, but none other than Mr. Tony Billeri, brother. How you doing?
Appreciate you. Much love. It's been really good to see you guys actually catching up the past couple minutes. Yeah, like you said, old friends, bring back some good memories at the end of the day, so I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, man, we go back almost a decade. We were over here talking about our age and stuff. We're like, yo, we started kind of playing together like 10 years ago. It's crazy how life and time flies by. But yeah, man. You remember taking shots at this guy at practice?
You couldn't score either.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about that.
That was the norm.
Yeah, I think he was one of the easiest keepers to score on. You know, if I was playing defense or something, I wouldn't pass him the ball, you know.
Yeah, it was kind of risky, man.
Footwork, you know what I'm saying?
Back in the day, you weren't wrong. The footwork was off, and that's we'll get into it, but that was definitely one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons.
Yeah, we met you kind of when we were teenagers, but when did you stop playing soccer, football?
Oh man, as a kid, of course, just like anybody, you know, when you start, whatever it is, 4, 5, 6, and the youth programs, all that kind of stuff. That's where I was at, but you know, rode it out to the end. Played baseball at the same time, you know, basketball was a CYO, those kind of jokes and stuff like that. But it definitely took away from the focus, you know. It's definitely one of the things we'll probably touch on when we talk. But yeah, man, just as a little kid, it was. My grandfather's from Italy, so it was something that he always loved, but my father was a baseball player. It wasn't something that he was very versed in. He wasn't very knowledgeable in at the same time. So my love for football kind of came really from within, as opposed to, you know, someone kind of pushing it on me, if that makes sense.
That's what's up. It's crazy sometimes, because in this country, you'll hear, like, professional soccer players touching the ball for the first time at age, like, 15, 16. Like Landon Donovan, I heard. 16 years old. So I always like to ask, but... yeah, you said that you played baseball and it kind of probably took off the focus. But do you think playing the game actually helped you in other sports that you played? As far as maybe like IQ, I heard like footwork a lot of times.
Vision, yeah, 100%. Footwork, definitely not. Honestly, I think that was probably one of my biggest issues, like growing up, and I knew that, especially when I got to college, is I was never told to play with my feet until college. I didn't know how to play with my feet, man. Like, I was kind of growing up in those times and days just like you guys when the goalie got a ball, it was kick it as far as you can, bro. Get that shit out of here. Don't play around. Don't make a mistake, because you know what's behind you, right? So I think that was one of my biggest detriments in my career, was the fact that I grew up here and soccer brain was not the same. It just totally wasn't. Like I said, every time I got the ball, it was punt the ball as far as you can, get rid of it, make no mistakes. And then the first time I was in Portugal, I watched I think it was a U8 training, and the kids put the ball down right from the goal, and he's
dishing it.
Out with the ball, man. And he's getting the ball again, and they're circling around, and he's getting it. And I was like,
it's important, man. It's an important craft to have.
There's a reason why we're so behind. Like, there is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's growing, and things are going better, and you get the high-profile players. We're starting to get more academies. All that kind of good stuff is working, but we're just behind. It's just behind. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But
if you see, too, like, for instance, you know, all over Europe, you would want to trust your goalkeeper, pass it back, release some pressure, you know what I'm saying, open up opportunity for your defenders to, you know, get the ball. You know, being good on your feet is important, man. We want to pass the ball back, but if you don't have the feet,
I didn't.
it's scary.
I'll own that.
You
I'll
know,
100% own that.
like for instance, Ali Son, bro. I love Ali Son. I think he's a great goalkeeper. The only problem is his feet. When he gets the ball on his feet, I get scared. I'm not
I
gonna
feel
lie.
that. I do.
It's crazy because like we remember the times where passing back to the goalie wasn't for him to, make a through pass or a through ball. Like we're old enough to know that.
Yeah.
But we're also, I guess, young enough to know that, goalies have to play in their feet, especially the way, I think last week we were talking about how positions have changed and stuff. Like, for me, a right back, like a traditional right back, like a Gary Neville, is non-existent anymore. You need to be able to cross the ball, have some skill and some pace, or else you're not making it.
You got it.
And it's kind of something like similar to what you're saying with the goalies. If you're not able to play on your feet, you can make all the saves in the world. You're like an extra attacker when you guys have the ball and that extra defender to kind of play sweeper.
Nah,
keeper.
it's right on the spot. It's right on the spot. Like I said, you grow up not versed and not feeling good with playing with the ball, then you're not going to be good with playing with the ball. My other problem was, I know you had asked me about it, was, why goalkeeper? Well, truthfully, I was the fat kid who couldn't kick or run the rock. Man.
Really?
I couldn't kick or run.
Yeah,
So I got stuck in goal, and I was always tough. I was always very aggressive, all that kind of stuff. So making saves and putting my face in front of the ball, all that kind of stuff was easy for me. It came naturally. I loved it. But I never trained my feet, man. Like, when I tell you, I put those gloves on probably when I was maybe, I'll call it like 8 years old, 10 years old, somewhere around there, and they never came off. They just never came off. I never played in the field. I just didn't. So I never really understood, like, how do you turn with the ball? How do you know when someone's on your back? How do you
just
play
looking
with
forward.
Always like this, like blind.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's tough. It was tough. Like, I wish. It's funny because I can look back on all of it now and see it now, but I didn't know how to get the ball on my right foot, keep going my right foot, and find that side. I didn't know how to get the ball on my right foot, come back, and then, like make a move, and make one, especially as a goalkeeper, all you need is a couple moves in the bag, and you can get around somebody. But I didn't know any of that. I didn't know how to do it. I was too scared.
Yep.
So especially in football, man, like you get the ball at your feet. If you're nervous, man, it shows.
Yeah.
I don't care what level you play at. This sport for me is confidence, confidence, confidence.
Yep.
You watch some of the best players in the world, like, just for example, we watched him this past weekend, Vinny. Like, Vinicius Jr. on the ball, bro, he is the most, like, he looks almost cocky on the ball because he knows he can do good things, and he knows he can beat you with speed if his tactics, his technical ability ain't working on the day, man. But for me, it was get rid of the rock, get rid of the ball, get rid of the ball. So once I got to Providence and I had some of the coaches that I did, I finally understood how important it was to, like, be playing with my feet, but I was just too late, man. I was, and that's why I was always on the bench at Providence. That's why I had struggled to break into the team there, was because my feet weren't good enough. You put me in a small-sided game, 6v6, 5v5, whatever it was, I'd win every time.
Because you're getting more shots. And
because I was a brick wall, man. That's just what I was. That's absolutely what I was. But the only thing I lacked was my feet, and ended up being my demise at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So, like, I want to go back to what you said. How it shows. As a striker, if I see the goalkeeper struggling, I'm gonna press 100%.
Pounce.
And I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I didn't like to press a lot. I would just.
oh,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? I was more like the Zlatan, and the
recovery
Ballo, I'll press the defense, but I wouldn't go towards the keeper. But if I see the keeper really struggling, I'm gonna press 100%.
And the whole team will advance. Like, even the defenders will play a higher line because we know he's just gonna either make a mistake, kick it out of bounds, or just get it right to half field so we can win the ball. So it puts the opposition in a tougher place. So, yeah, the goalie, I mean, all this is really just bringing a lot of stuff into mind. Like, I remember, because when we see a goalie that wasn't really too confident,
You're on him.
you're on him. And it gives you more confidence when the other person's not confident.
Yeah.
It's like a transfer of confidence, I guess.
Exactly, man. Exactly. When we were at Providence, and obviously it's the most, high IQ probably, other than the MLS in America right now, is probably still D1, I'd say. USL is up there, obviously, but the coaches and the coaching staff, I think, that you can have when you're in college can really shape you as a player, man. So when I got there and I saw all these guys, like playing with their feet, I'm like, man, I'm behind, I was behind. And it's not something that you can just turn on like that, you know what I mean? You don't just get feet, and you don't just get confidence more than just feet any day. Because, of course I can still, swing my foot and hit a ball with my left foot and put it out of bounds if I needed to, if you're under that pressure. But it's the confidence to do it, man. And you take that one half a step, man, and like you said, the forward's on you. We breathe that. they smell that from 100 yards away, man.
But like even Division 1 soccer, like I feel like what I've noticed, they love to press. You know what I'm saying? It's a high-paced game.
You get guys that fit, man. Forget it.
Yeah, I was
they're
gonna say
watch
like
it.
college ball, it's all about fitness, bro. Like if you can run the whole game, you're probably gonna start and not come off.
I'd say, and I'll say it was pretty evident even during my time at Providence. The more fit team would win. The more fit team would win. And I can go back to my freshman year. We were talking about him before, Julian Gressel. He's playing with Messi now.
Yeah.
So I played with somebody that played with
Yeah,
Messi.
yeah.
I remember watching him.
Like,
yeah.
it's just cool.
Yeah, nah, it is cool.
Congrats
It is
to him,
cool.
yo.
Yo, and he won a few,
he's
you know,
a
MLS Cups too.
Absolute baller. Guy,
Respect.
What I tell you. But when I tell you the number one thing about him, he never fucking got tired. I don't care if it was practice. I don't care if it was a day off. That guy was a German machine, and he still is. He never got tired. He used to play the 10 for us, and then my freshman year when we went to the Elite 8, we had that run in the tournament. Max Steves and Dom both got hurt. So Dom was playing the 10. Julian would probably play the wing, to be honest, and Mac was playing forward. That let Julian move right into forward. And when I tell you, anybody that had the ball, man, he was chasing you. He just never got tired. He just would keep going and going. He used to go on these, like, 10-mile runs and shit, and I'd be like, man, like, there's a reason I picked being a goalie. You know, I'm a little heavy.
Yeah,
like, I don't
yeah.
run like that. I don't like running like that. But wow, machine. And look at paying dividends now. He's literally on training on the field with Lionel Messi, Suarez, Jordi. Like, that's shit I was dreaming of even when I was in college. And now he's doing it. Like, all props to Jules, man.
Yeah.
All props. Great guy, too.
Congrats to him, man. When I saw that sign, I was happy because I remember watching him at the Providence College soccer field just playing, you know what I'm saying? And now this guy's playing with the best in the world, so.
He's nasty. He is nasty.
That's a great for you to see because you had a personal relationship with him, so.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys that, especially as a freshman, we had a big group. We had 10 guys. A lot of us, you know, different personalities, different things like that. He was one of those few guys that when the time was right, he was looking out for you. You know what I mean? And when times were wrong, he was really looking out for you, which was just like a true captain to me, like a true leader, like, hey, Tone, like, you know, pick yourself up, like, get back going. And then if I was on the other end of it, like, hey, man, you're making some big fucking mistakes right now. Like, straighten up. Let's figure it out. I mean, when you're at college, you're not just talking about football.
Right.
You're talking about school. You're talking about girls. You're talking about how you hold yourself, class, all those different things. So he was a phenomenal leader, and, yeah, he's there now. He's riding the wave now.
So what I'm getting from you is that he was focused, he was determined, and he was a leader. And you need that, you know what I'm saying? You need someone that's going to come in and just tell you what's going on and keep you on your toes.
100%.
You know, so much respect to him, man.
Number one
Class.
thing was he wasn't from here.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah,
going to
yeah.
ask. I was
He's
like,
not
yo.
from here. He's German.
Right, yeah.
You wouldn't really notice it by like the look on his, like, he's not really like look at the German guy, like, I don't know what I mean. But when you heard him speak German and all that, you'd be like, oh, this guy's, you know, not from here. So I remember it was one of my first sessions, like, actually at practice, and this guy had a pair of like all black boots. I was like, yo, I'm pretty up to date on stuff. Like, I ain't never seen those cleats before, man. Like, where'd you get those? And they were the Adidas X's. And he used to get the prototypes from Adidas.
Oh, wow.
Like, he had the black on black, no markings, prototypes of the Adidas X's before they came out. And I was like, I ain't never even seen that in America. Like, Adidas sent a player cleats to be like, yo, I need you to test these out. Like, can you tell me how they feel, how the touch is, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, is that what they do over in Germany? Like, but it's just true in the sense that football is the world over there, and that's what they focus on.
Yeah.
So when you find those one-offs and stuff like that, they're kind of big deals.
Wow,
They
the
are.
only player I ever heard that Adidas does that for is Tony Cruz. I guess we had Julian
true.
Gressel to that
Yeah.
list.
Yo,
You know
he's
what I'm
had them
saying?
cleats, since 2012 or
They don't
something?
make those cleats
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
and they
Yeah,
only
but-
send it to him.
To
Yeah,
be fair,
yeah.
To be fair, Julian's were prototypes, not old
So-
cleats.
so they
that's
weren't-
totally different.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's
crazy.
still
That-
big, though, for a guy
still.
that's playing in college.
He was, I think, when he probably around that time. If I was, I was 17 when I went to college, so he had to have been. He was in his fourth year. He was probably, 22, 23, because I think he came over at 19 or 20. So he's got a couple of years on me, whatever. But it just like blew my mind. I was like, you have cleats that no one else in the world has right now. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no big deal. I'm like,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And now he's
yeah.
playing with Messi, so I guess he was doing shit right.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta say too, even like Europeans, man, they just move different, man. Like I just recently went to Netherlands to see my family, and they talk different. They cater to their families, and they love the sport in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, much respect to him, man. He's sounds like a
Football's
dope
life,
guy.
He's a dope guy. You ever get the chance? I'd love to get down there and go see a game in Miami, man. Forget
Oh man, the tickets right now are probably like $400-$500. I'll pass.
it. Easy.
I'll watch them on the
easy.
TV though.
Subscribe so we can fund the tickets and
Yeah,
the
we
flights
need-
down
we
to
need
Miami.
Funds. We need funds for it. We need funds for it. Take a trip.
Oh man, yeah, Tony. So you were talking about like the jump from like D1 high school to D1 college, and then eventually Portugal. What was like the difference between those three stages? Like the amount you had to adapt, or even the amount that you were exposed to, where probably in high school you didn't see so much.
So I'd probably say everything, man. Everything. It is a totally different animal. I think there was a big reason. That had a big reason why a lot of players that were looking to go to college weren't playing in high school, and it was that kind of time where a lot of kids were trying to play for the Revs, play for academies, get more looks by bigger scouts, bigger clubs, so that they would at least have an idea of you before you went to college, right? So I played at high school. I loved it. I loved all my friends. I loved being there, all of it. So it was never really a quick question for me to go play for Revs. I also didn't have the specific opportunity. They weren't knocking on my door saying, "Hey, Tone, like, why don't you come play for Revs?" I had a tryout or two, but it wasn't that serious. But I wanted to play in high school. I wanted to be around my people. Just like I said, perfect example. When I'm in high school, I was making all these saves. I was all New England. I came in second to Stavros, All American, like all those kinds of things. But man, I didn't have any feet, bro. I didn't know how to play on my feet. I made all the saves I needed to make. I was aggressive. I was the captain. I was the leader. I've always been a good leader type thing, but I just didn't have the feet. But I got away with it in high school. I wouldn't get away with it probably at the Revs during that time. I probably wouldn't have, and that's probably one of those kind of adjustment things that I don't want to say I was arrogant to, but because I just really didn't know. I really didn't. I thought, oh yeah, man, like I'm gonna get to Providence, and Spratty at the time was the coach. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to Providence. Spratty's gonna make my feet 100 times better, and all of a sudden I'm just gonna be this star, and it just wasn't that.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. And even with all Spratty's training and everything with your feet, it's not playing. You know what I mean? You can put cones in front of you as many times as you want, but you can't mimic the game. You can't mimic the situations. You can't mimic the feelings, the nervousness, the anxiety, whatever you want to call it, all these different things. You can't mimic it. So for lack of better terminology, he was having you get the ball from the right and you play out to the left. You get the ball from the left, you play out to the right. And almost like a robot. But when the game is going, there's no cones there, man. And there's no cone for how fast that forward is or how big his leg is. You know what I mean? Like everyone's different, so it was tough. It was just a totally different animal. So once I got to college, man, and I saw that it was tough. It was aggravating. It was because I was never not the guy that wasn't good. You know what I mean? Like I was always the man. It's like, oh, Tony's the man. Like Tony's gonna be in goal. Tony's got our backs. Ba ba ba. And once I finally got to college, everyone on the team was like, yo, you should be playing. Like, you're the guy who does this. Like, at the time, Colin, you had great feet. It was all this kind of stuff, but it was just a little bit lacking. And that was from the time that just, it wasn't, my feet weren't good enough. And that's something that I didn't understand. I just did not understand that. I thought making the saves and catching the cross out of the air.
You thought that was
being-
enough,
I thought
huh?
it was enough, man.
Yeah,
I thought it was
yeah.
enough. But once you get to that level, it wasn't. And then talk about when I went to Portugal after Providence. Like I said, I went to training. One of my presidents asked me, like, yo, can you go run a training session for some goalkeepers and some kids tonight? Of course. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay an extra $100. Like, yeah, of course. Love it. And I went there, and these 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, because it's every hour. They practice every day. So here in Bayside, what we used to do, probably like 2 practices a week and then games Saturday or something like that. They practice every single day. They're just like almost like professionals, man. So I got there at, if I can remember correctly, I got there at like 6 o'clock at night. It was the 8-year-olds. 7 o'clock was the 10-year-olds. And then it just kept going hour after hour. And it was just all quality. All quality. And these kids wanted to be there every single time. You know how many times I used to be here in America and kids be like, oh, I want to go to practice, man.
Right.
It's like, all right, bro, like if you don't want to go to practice, and you're just not a professional and you're not going to be that guy. Like you're just not. Because perfect example is I read it one time, Luka Modric used to skip school to go play soccer. And like, Yeah, who doesn't want to skip school?
Right.
Who skips school to go play soccer and like get in trouble and be like, yeah, screw it. Like I'm trying to do this. Not a lot of people have that, and not a lot of people understand that. And especially in America, towards football, no one knows that.
Yeah.
No one does.
Yep.
Who are
Yeah.
the best stories we got? Jordan. I could think of 1,000. Paul Pierce, David Ortiz,
Yeah.
Manny Ramirez. Like you can pick any sport, anything you want. Hockey. Talking Bobby Orr, all these guys. They have these stories, but there's no notes on how to do it, and you have to physically have it, like literally in your stomach.
That
fighting
it
you
factor.
and burning
Yeah.
you every single
Yeah.
day. Because if not, it's just it is what it is. I train a couple kids right now, and one of the guys' dads said to me, he's like, "Yeah, he just doesn't have it." And his dad's from Portugal. His dad grew up like that, all that kind of stuff. And he's just like, "Yeah, he don't have it, like whatever." And I'm like, "What do you mean he doesn't have it? He doesn't have the ability?" And I was like, "I think he's got pretty good ability, and like if you give me the time, like I'd love to spend the time with him, whatever, and make sure he doesn't miss out on the shit that I missed out on." And he's like, "No, it's just like when we get home from practice or whatever, he like goes play video games as opposed to going back outside." You know what I mean? And that is that difference. Man.
Yes.
That is just the limit.
Yes.
And you don't even notice it because I played video games as a kid too. To be honest, I get home from school, I do my homework as fast as I could, and then I like go play video games because I knew I was going to practice for either baseball, soccer, or whatever that night.
Yeah.
But like, you have to do something. You have to get whatever they say, 10,000 hours to become a master at something. The faster you can
You
get
gotta
to that,
do it every day.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the longer you wait, man, just like I'm a victim of it. The longer I waited, the worse it got for me at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a matter of life. We all live, we learn. You know what I'm saying? Finally, realize. Same for me. I mean, growing up, I would like put myself to the side. We used to go to Brown. I don't know how often you would go, but
Yeah, we'd go and
Bro.
sometimes we put some cones down and just
yeah.
when no one was there. If no one showed up, you
Yeah.
remember those days.
Bro, I used to take quarters from my washing machine, and I would take the bus and I'll go play soccer every day. It's a different type of determination, and that's when my game started elevating around like 15, 16, 17. Like I really like jumped a lot, and that's probably why I took the extra time to go and shoot with my left foot. You know what I'm saying? Or go and just play pickup or run.
That's
But-
when you were prolific too. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that was the age, like right around that age, that you were kind of making a name for yourself. When
Yeah.
you were doing that.
Respect.
It's like, and I'm not saying this about you, whatever, but it's like the poor person mentality for it, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, you took away your quarters for like
Yeah.
keeping your fucking clothes clean to get on the bus,
Yeah.
bro. Like that's just like gives me some goosebumps and I feel it because like those are the stories you need to hear. Like I'm gonna be honest, like I grew up hearing like all these different stories, so like I never really focused on one to understand like, okay, David Beckham woke up every single day and juggled the ball outside his house for 5 hours before practice.
Yep.
Like he was practicing for practice. Who does that here? Nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Even Mo Salah, he was taking a 9-hour bus ride every day.
Yeah.
Did
Read
you
that
see
one
that?
the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, 9 hours every day, that's outrageous, man. But
Yeah.
that's what it takes to get to the elite levels, winning Champions Leagues and all these things. It starts way in the beginning, like you
All
said,
from the
8 years
beginning,
old.
man. All
Yeah.
from the beginning. And you need someone to believe in you too.
That
You-
is true.
you
Like
absolutely need-
coaches, even people. Yeah, man. Yo, my parents though, they were pissed about the washing machine shit. Like they own a house. You know what I'm saying? They have their tenants coming down, paying for the bitch. You know what I'm saying? And they're coming back. They're like, yo, how
are
are
they
people
stealing
washing
this
clothes? There's no money here. Taking the-
Oh, that's what you meant. You'd go in the
Yeah.
machine and actually
Yeah.
take it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
had some saving for like, I gotta wash my clothes later.
Nah, I
you're
was
a thief.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
alright.
I was yeah, that's
Nah, I
how
get
it
it, I get
was. But no,
Yo.
that's true, man. I've had coaches believe in me. I've had coaches that didn't see my ability. It's all about opinions. You know what I'm saying? Some coaches will really, really see it, and then you thrive and you're grooving, but then you go to that coach that don't fuck with you at all, and you can't even do anything.
It's happened to me at Providence, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got recruited there my junior year. All was good, and that's early for us too. It was early. It was pretty cool that when I signed for them and signed whatever you want to call it, signed for them, agreed to go, and verbally committed. But like I said, my feet was an issue, and Craig being from England, my head coach from Newcastle, all that was tough as shit, and my feet weren't good enough. Where the couple other coaches that I've had, John Mark when he was his assistant, whatever, those guys, I think they believed in me, but they believed that I would keep going. I think Craig didn't see it in me ever, to be honest. And that kills you as a player, too. Like, when I tell you, like, go into practice and, like, feeling like you can't do shit right, and, like, I'd have a great session, whatever, but I could have a week, 2 weeks of great sessions, and I just knew it wasn't changing the 11. I knew I wasn't changing the 11. And that shit hurts. And that plays with your mind a lot because, like I said, it's a confidence game. Even going into practice with no confidence, you're not going to practice well. You know what happens when you don't practice well? You don't perform well. When you don't perform well, you don't get on the field.
And then you look worse.
So it's like a
domino effect.
Snowball, domino effect, what do you want to call it? And it just built up type thing. All I ever really needed them to do, man, that's the worst part, was throw me into a session, take my fucking gloves off, and put me in, because that was what I was missing, my feet. I made the saves, bro. I did. Like, that was a fact. I just needed the feet. But like I said, I didn't know how to play. I did not know how to play. I never did it. Best goalkeeper in the world with his feet, just out of curiosity. Who is it for you?
I'd probably say off the top, maybe Ederson.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But, this week, it looked kind of crazy. But he was injured.
We'll get to that.
Bro. He got rocked. And then, I'm not going to lie, that's a goalie thing. You make a mistake, you play injured. But he actually looked injured. Like, he made a mistake, and then, all right, that's it. Get him off the field. He converted to a left back at, I can't remember correctly, like 13 or 15 years old. Or converted from left back to goalkeeper.
So, you had that
So you're talking
experience.
about a Brazilian. They play on hard surface. They don't, like, that's just, they fucking play. And they play in these tight areas and all this kind of stuff, so they always have the best feet. Or you put a guy who was playing left back ready to take on any winger or any player at the time, and you put him in goal. No wonder why he's got so much effing confidence. No wonder why he doesn't get nervous on the ball, because
he built that,
like, it's just the word I keep going back to is confidence. He's got the absolute confidence to be like, hey, give me the ball. I'm going to do what I got to do with it.
That kind of makes sense, bro.
Bro?
Neuer, he played midfield.
Like me, I used to, like, grow up watching, like, Buffon's not a great example because he had okay feet, but not the best. But perfect example is Buffon. Like, most times you saw him get the ball, bro, that shit was gone. It wasn't at his feet for too long.
Yep.
It just wasn't. So that's the mentality I got stuck in, and a lot of my coaches, like I said, probably until I got to Providence, every time I touch the ball, I get rid of it.
Yep.
So
my question is, who's your favorite goalkeeper, past and present?
forever is going to be Buffon. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
I have him tattooed on my leg.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. He's my favorite. I'm a Juve guy, too. Forget it. So it's always going to
Couldn't
be
tell,
Buffon.
bro.
It's always going to be Buffon. Present, I do love Ederson. And that is the exact reason why, is because he's got what I didn't. And that's his feet. And that's a big thing for me. Like, it's almost like a little itch on my head, you know what I mean? Type thing that it's like, shit, man. If I could have mimicked my game to somebody else, it would have been him. But there's a lot now, man. There's a few good ones that I love. Szczesny, bro. I know he's at Juve, but he's one of those guys that he'll give up a shit goal, like, from his hands every once in a while. But if you watch any of the games, left foot, right foot, he drops dimes.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
And then he stepped up his game a lot from being at Arsenal.
The growth.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a good,
Juve's where he got better. I'm not going to lie.
No, for me, the truth is, where did he get better? Roma.
Okay.
Roma's goalkeeper coach had Alisson Becker and Wojciech Szczesny at the same time. And Szczesny and him were fighting for the number one. And that's when Alisson blew up, and that's when Szczesny blew up.
Wow.
So then Szczesny bounced over to Juve, and then Alisson went to Liverpool.
True. All right.
A little history lesson over here.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot he played for Roma.
I was like, Roma? What you mean Roma?
I forgot.
That's why you got to bring the boy on the podcast.
Yeah.
You go over and you can look at the goalkeeper coach for Roma, and that's what you say, thank you, man. You just produced some unreal goalkeepers for us.
Yeah.
That is what's up, man. Yo, glad to have you on here, brother. That was a fantastic story. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Like this for our boy Tony right here on his debut on the Proper Football Podcast. And stay tuned because we got more to talk about.